All right, let's jump into a marketing platform that's been making waves with its actionable insights, marketing in action, or MIA for short.
Right?
We've got their media kit. It gives us like a behind the scenes peek at their strategy.
Oh, cool.
And we're also going to be looking at some of their content from their Substack to see kind of like, where the magic happens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to dive into this one. It's not just what MIA is, but like why it's been so successful. Their engagement numbers are phenomenal. I was looking at their open rates, and they're way above industry average, like 47% open rate. That's nuts.
That is wild.
And they've got a global audience, not just marketers either, but founders too.
Hmm.
And we're also going to get to explore the stories of some individuals they feature in their marketers, like TM and Pie-Shaped.
Okay.
It's a series
Yeah.
where they talk about how they landed these awesome marketing gigs.
Okay, so let's like unpack this a little bit. Like, what is MIA all about?
So MIA's mission is all about empowering marketers and founders with tools and insights they can actually use, like actionable stuff.
And it all started because the founder, James Praise, he was frustrated with the lack of practical marketing resources out there, so he just decided to make the thing that he wished he had.
Yeah, classic entrepreneur, right?
Totally.
Turning a problem into an opportunity, and they've built this amazing ecosystem. So they have this marketing in action publication, and it's full of templates and guides.
I saw that.
Yeah, and they've got all sorts of formats. Like they have it on Notion, Google Docs, Google Sheets, so you can really pick your poison.
Oh, nice.
And then there's MarTech.
Oh, yeah.
This is a curated list of tools and opportunities, which sounds like a goldmine for anyone in the marketing space.
Sure.
And then for those who like to really dive deep into strategy, they've got marketing-led growth, which sounds right up your alley. That's all about like those in-depth looks at successful strategies.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm all about like the learner type of content. So marketing-led growth definitely sounds like it fits the bill.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about Marketers T, M and Shaped. This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
So they feature the career journeys of these marketers with all sorts of different backgrounds, and they highlight the skills and experiences that help them succeed. It's all about showing the human side of marketing,
Mhm. Totally.
and how there are many paths to success in the field.
Yeah, I love that. So before we dive into the stories, let's talk about who MIA is attracting. Like, who is their audience?
So their audience demographics, they paint a picture of a truly global community. We're talking marketers, founders, growth strategists, product managers, all working across like the SaaS companies, startups, B2B, agencies, even venture capital. They're everywhere.
And they're in 28 countries.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
28 countries. But there are two dominant regions.
Oh, okay.
Nigeria actually makes up a whopping 61.79% of their user base. And then the U.S. comes in second at 19.02%.
Okay.
It makes you wonder what's driving this concentration.
That's a really good question.
Is Nigeria becoming like this major hub for marketing innovation? Maybe it's fueled by like a booming tech startup scene there. Or is it MIA's content strategy just resonating more strongly with certain markets? It's a question to ponder.
Yeah. Well, so what's making them so successful then? I mean, their engagement numbers are out of this world. Like you said, the open rates are incredible.
Yeah, the stats highlight the quality of their content
Yeah.
and their ability to connect with their audience, right?
Right.
So remember, 47.52% open rates.
Yeah.
That's 122.9% higher than the average, which is 21.33%.
Wow.
And the click-through rate is insane.
Yeah.
11% compared to an average of just 2.62%.
Yeah.
That's a 319.8% increase. People aren't just opening the emails, they're clicking through and engaging with the content.
Yeah, they're finding value in what MIA is offering.
Exactly. They're not just passively consuming, they're actively engaging. So let's get into some of the content then. Let's look at the marketers T, M, and Top-Shaped series.
Yeah, okay.
This is where they unpack the concept of T-shaped, M-shaped, and Pie-shaped marketers. Each one represents different skill sets and career paths.
Okay, I see.
And they have some amazing stories.
Yeah, like Enifiok Nintia.
Yes.
He started in agricultural science
I know, right?
and somehow ends up leading growth marketing for companies like Jumia, Conga, even Shopify. That's wild.
Talk about a journey.
Yeah, I mean, talk about transferable skills. Like, what did he gain from his agricultural science background that applied to marketing?
Right. Maybe analytical skills. Or a deep understanding of data analysis,
Yeah.
which are, super crucial in today's marketing landscape.
Mm-hmm.
It challenges the idea that you need a specific marketing degree to succeed in this field.
Right.
Like you can come from anywhere.
Totally.
And then there's Balaji and Ifawos, who began as, get this, a student blogger,
Wow.
and now a successful growth marketing career.
I mean, That's a great example of how these seemingly unrelated experiences can actually be like stepping stones to a marketing career. What stands out to you about his story?
I think his early blogging experience probably helped him develop like strong communication skills, content creation abilities, and maybe even some SEO knowledge. Those are all valuable assets for any marketer.
Right. And it shows the importance of being proactive. Like,
Hmm.
you don't have to wait to get a job. You can just start building your skill set, outside of traditional settings.
Exactly, exactly. And then we have Delapa Blogan. Her path took her from a communications internship all the way to a CMO position.
I mean, it goes to show, internships, even if they're not directly in marketing, can still give you valuable experience.
Right. And it highlights the importance of continuous learning and career progression. Like, she didn't just stay in her lane. She actively sought out opportunities to grow and expand her skill set
That's awesome.
and eventually reached a leadership position.
I love that.
And then there's, like, Bunmi Balogun.
Okay, yeah.
She has a background in applied physics.
Applied physics, how do you even transition from that to marketing?
I know, right? It's wild. It really challenges that traditional idea of what a marketer should look like. Like, you can come from a science background and still kill it in marketing. It makes you think, like, what did she take from physics? Maybe a strong analytical mindset, problem-solving skills, a data-driven approach,
Right.
which, again, are super relevant in today's marketing world.
Yeah. Okay, who's next?
All right, we've got Principal Ejirika, and his marketing journey started with, wait for it, creating a Facebook fan page.
Really?
Yep.
Just like that.
That's how it started. It's crazy to think something so casual can spark a passion and lead to developing valuable skills.
I guess it just goes to show that marketing is becoming more accessible, right?
Toy.
Like, you don't necessarily need a fancy degree or years of experience to get started. You can just dive in, experiment, and create your own opportunities. It's really about passion and a willingness to learn.
You got it. And the principal's journey, from a Facebook fan page to working with companies like VConnect and Jumia, and now global fintech and FMCG brands, it just proves that point. It shows the power of initiative and creativity and putting yourself out there.
That's awesome.
And then we have Lady Falobi.
Okay.
Early on in her career, there was a lot of experimentation.
Yeah.
But that experimentation eventually led her to become a product marketer. And she's contributed to companies like Motherboard, Disha, Flutterwave, and Wicrypt.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think her story highlights the importance of a growth mindset. Like, marketing is always changing, right? So being comfortable with, not knowing everything and being open to new challenges, that's key.
Yeah, embracing the unknown.
Exactly. Latest career path shows that embracing those diverse experiences, even if they seem totally unrelated at first, can actually lead to this really rich and fulfilling career in marketing.
Yeah. I mean, it's so inspiring to see all these individuals who have carved their own unique path in marketing. It really highlights that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
That's it. That's it. It's not about fitting into a mold. It's about, leveraging your unique strengths and experiences to really make your mark.
Awesome. So we've talked about what MIA is, who their audience is, why they're so successful. We've started to explore what we can learn from this marketer's T, M, and P-shaped content. What else can we glean from this series before we move on?
Well, we could take a closer look at how those T, M, and pie-shaped marketer concepts,
Sure.
like how those can be applied practically.
Yeah.
How can our listener use these insights to think about their own skill set and maybe even guide their career development?
I love that.
Yeah.
But before we do that, can you just give us a little bit more detail about what each of those shapes actually means in the context of marketing?
Oh, for sure.
I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah. So the T-shaped marketer concept, it's all about having this broad understanding of different marketing disciplines.
Nah.
That's represented by the horizontal bar of the T.
Okay.
But then you also have this deep expertise in one or two specific areas, and that's the vertical bar of the T.
Okay, so for example, a T-shaped marketer might have a general understanding of content marketing, social media marketing, and email marketing, but then their deep expertise might be SEO or paid advertising.
You got it. Now, the M-shaped marketer takes it a step further.
Okay.
They have multiple areas of deep expertise, so that's like two vertical bars on the M, in addition to that broad marketing knowledge.
So they might be experts in with SEO and content marketing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you have the pie-shaped market.
Yeah, this is a newer one.
It's a newer concept, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're essentially multidisciplinary experts.
Yeah.
They're not only good at marketing, but they also have a deep understanding in another field that complements marketing, like product development or data analysis.
Oh, wow. So they can bridge the gap between marketing and other departments.
Precisely. And they foster a more holistic and strategic approach to business growth.
I love that. That's a great explanation. So now how can our listener use these concepts to assess their own skills and career path?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Let's discuss that in more detail as we continue our deep dive.
Perfect.
All right. Welcome back. Before we get to those shapes, I want to touch on another thing that MIA does well, their publications, like MarTech
Yeah.
and marketing-led growth. These offer actual resources, not just inspiration.
Oh, yeah. It's one thing to read about, these amazing marketing ender journeys, but then it's another to actually have the tools and strategies you can use.
Exactly. So MarTech, for example, right?
Yeah.
They have this curated list of marketing tools and opportunities. That's gold for anybody trying to streamline processes or discover new solutions.
Yeah, especially for our listener who's all about gaining knowledge quickly, efficiently. Having that curated list saves you so much time.
It's a shortcut, right, to the good stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's marketing-led growth, which dives deep into successful strategies, offering these actionable insights for people who want to see real results.
And that fits right in with MIA's whole thing. Empowering marketers with stuff they can actually use. It's not just theory. It's about actually giving people the tools they need to succeed.
It's about turning insights into action, which I think our listener can appreciate.
For sure. I think what's really remarkable about MIA is how it reflects this bigger shift we're seeing in marketing. It's not enough to just talk about ideas. People want to see how those ideas actually work in the real world.
It's about application, right?
Yeah.
And MIA's focus on the actionable insights, real-world applications, it aligns with this growing demand for data-driven marketing strategies.
Totally. And I think it's not just about data, but using that data to really connect with your audience, building a community around your brand.
That's huge, right?
Yep.
MIA is a great example of how to do that well. I mean, their engagement stats, they speak for themselves. People are really engaging with the content, not just passively consuming.
They're building a following, not just an audience.
Right. And that's how you see sustainable success in marketing. Having that connection, providing value that makes people keep coming back for more.
Okay, so let's circle back to those T, M, and pie-shaped marketers. You mentioned that our listener could use these to assess their own skills, maybe guide their career path. So how can they actually do that?
So first off, it's important to remember that these models, they're not rigid categories. They're more like frameworks for thinking about your skills and how they fit into the marketing world.
So it's not about forcing yourself into one specific shape, but rather using them as guides to help you identify your strengths, areas where you can grow.
Exactly. So say our listener, they're drawn to all sorts of marketing disciplines. They like having that broad understanding of the field, right? Maybe they're a T-shaped marketer.
And if they have a deep passion for one area, like SEO or content marketing, that'd be their vertical bar, their area of expertise.
Exactly. But say they find themselves equally passionate about two things, like data analysis and social media marketing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're more of an M shape, developing those two deep areas of expertise.
That makes sense. What about the pie-shaped marketer? How can our listener, identify with that model?
The pie-shaped model, it's interesting. It goes beyond purely marketing skills.
Right.
Right. It suggests that expertise in a complementary field like product development or data analysis can be super valuable.
So if our listener has a background in coding or design, they could leverage those skills to become that pie-shaped marketer.
Exactly. They could bridge that gap between marketing and other teams, bringing a unique perspective,
I like that. So it sounds like the key is to be, self-aware of your strengths, what you're actually interested in.
It is. It is. It's about understanding what you naturally gravitate towards and then consciously developing those skills. And also being open to trying new things.
Yeah.
Constantly looking for opportunities to expand your knowledge.
Yeah. MIA's success, especially the stories in marketers T, M, and pie-shaped, it just shows you how powerful continuous learning can be. Marketing's always evolving, so you got to be willing to adapt and evolve with it.
Totally. And it reminds us that there isn't just one path to success in marketing. Whether you're a T-shaped marketer, with one deep area, or a pie-shaped marketer bridging multiple things, what matters is passion, a commitment to growth, and delivering real value.
It's not about fitting into a box. It's about using what makes you unique to make a difference.
Love that. So let's shift gears a bit. How does MIA's approach, how does it fit in with broader industry trends? What can we learn from their success? And how can our listener apply those lessons to their own work?
Yeah, let's get into that. We've been talking about how MIA really embodies this shift we're seeing in marketing, this move towards actionable insights, real-world applications.
Yeah, you can't just know the theory anymore. You got to be able to apply it.
Yeah.
And MIA gives you the tools to actually do that.
Their focus on data-driven strategies and building a community, I mean, it's clearly working. Their engagement numbers are proof.
47% open rate. It's unreal. Really shows you how strong their content is and that they know how to target the right people with the right message.
It makes you think, like, what can we take away from their success? What are some key things our listener can use in their own marketing?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is, you got to provide value. MI is not just putting out content for the sake of it. They're really thinking about their audience, giving them stuff they'll actually use.
They're solving problems, offering solutions, empowering marketers to actually take action.
That's it. And they're doing it in a way that's engaging. It's not just dry, informative stuff. They make it interesting, make you want to keep me back for more.
They found that balance between educating and entertaining.
Absolutely. Another key takeaway is community. MIA's built this space where marketers can connect, share ideas, learn from each other.
That sense of community is so important, especially in a field like marketing where everything is constantly changing. You need that support, that inspiration to keep growing.
And it's not just about connecting with other marketers. It's about your audience, too. Understanding their needs, creating content that speaks to them.
And MI has clearly nailed that. I mean, look at those engagement stats. They know how to connect with their audience on a deeper level.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into MIA, I want our listeners to think about how they can use these principles in their own work.
Yeah, how can you bring more value to your audience? How can you build a stronger community around your brand?
And maybe most importantly, how can you, keep that growth mindset, constantly learn and improve your skills?
MIA is a perfect example of what happens when you combine passion with purpose,
Yeah.
and a real dedication to giving people something valuable.
It's inspiring for everyone in marketing. Shows you that we can actually make a difference, connect with people, build something meaningful.
So go out there, embrace the challenge, and make your own marketing magic.
And definitely check out MIA for yourself. We'll link their website and socials in the show notes.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.